Hi, I'm Black Dragon, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Black Dragon Biker TV. And as always, we thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is that you are in the world. Today's biker news. Members of biker gang attacked St. Paul bouncer, threatened gunfire over gang colors, charges say. Wow. Gang used 2 times in one sentence. This is going to be an interesting one. Written by Sarah Horner of the Twin Cities Pioneer Press. Angry that a St. Paul bar refused to serve them while wearing their gang colors, a group of Hell's Outcast members took their ire out on the bouncer, authorities say. While some members stood watch to make sure no one tried to intervene, the group attacked the man at 11:19 p.m. on November the 9th at the Saloon Bar on Hudson Road in St. Paul, according to the criminal complaint filed Tuesday in Ramsey County District Court. One of the members, Justin Raymond Weiner, also threatened to shoot up the bar, the complaint said. The incident took place a few weeks after members of the biker gang were told they wouldn't be served if they wore their gang colors inside, even though members of other gangs could, authorities say. How many times can you use gang in one paragraph? There are 4 sentences in that paragraph, and they use gang in 3 sentences. The incident took place a few weeks after members of the biker gang were told they wouldn't be served if they wore their gang colors inside, even though members of other gangs could, authorities say. What was this, a gang metership, gangy gang place of gangy gangs? But anyway, they were told they couldn't wear their colors, and other motorcycle clubs could. So they didn't like that. Now Weiner faces felony charges of committing a crime for the benefit of a gang and making threats of violence, court records say. Is there really a crime in Minnesota called committing a crime for the benefit of a gang? Really? That can't be so. Let's look. Roll that. Aha. Section 609.229 of the Minnesota statutes states that a crime committed for benefit of a gang, wow, that's real. Crime committed for benefit of gang, subdivision 1. Definition. As used in this section, criminal gang means any ongoing organization, association, or group of 3 or more persons, whether formal or informal, that 1. Has as one of its primary activities the commission of one or more of the offenses listed in section 609.11 subdivision 9. So if you have 3 individuals and you commit one of the offenses in 609.11, let's go look at 609.11 real quick here. 609.11, the applicable offenses to commit the criminal offense of doing a crime to benefit the gang. So let's see, the applicable offenses are the crimes for which mandatory minimum sentences shall be served, provided in this section, are murder in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd degree. Okay. Assault in the 1st degree, 2nd degree, or 3rd degree. Burglary, kidnapping, false imprisonment, manslaughter in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd degree. Or no, just the 1st or 2nd degree. Aggravated robbery, simple robbery, 1st degree or aggravated 1st degree. Witness tampering. Let's say that 3 times. Criminal sexual conduct. Also, escaping from custody, arson in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd degree, drive-by shooting, stalking, possession of or other unlawful use of a firearm or ammunition in violation of section 609.165. 2, a felony violation of chapter 152 or any other attempt to commit any of these offenses. Wow, that's a lot. So the crime committed for the benefit of the gang means you have to have 3 or more people, and your primary activity has to be doing one of those things that they just talked about. And you also have to have a common name or common identifying sign or symbol, like colors. Also, it includes members who individually or collectively engage in or have engaged in a pattern of criminal activity. Wow. So that's the definition. And subdivision 2, crimes. A person, this is where it gets really ugly. A person who commits a crime for the benefit of the gang, at the direction of the gang, or in association with or motivated by involvement with criminal gang, with the intent to promote, further, or assist in criminal conduct by gang members is guilty of a crime and may be sentenced as provided in subdivision 3. All right, this is subdivision 3. The penalty: A, if the crime committed in violation of subdivision 2, which is what we just read, those crimes, is a felony. So if you commit a felony while doing a crime in benefit of the gang, the statutory maximum for the crime is 5 years longer than the statutory maximum for the underlying crime. So basically, they're going to add another 5 years to whatever the heck you were going to get if you just committed assault, and maybe you were going to get 5 years for that. They added another 5 years because you committed it in benefit of the gang. So now you got 10 years when you're going to do 5. They've doubled the time. If it was 5, if you were going to do 3 years, now you're going to do 8. Wow. And if the crime committed in violation of subdivision 2, the division we just read, is a felony, and the victim of that crime is a child under the age of 18 years old, the statutory maximum for the crime is 10 years longer than the statutory maximum for the underlying crime. So if you're going to do 3 years, but you happen to cause an injury or something to a child, now you're doing 13 years. They just gave you an extra 10 years, just like that. Just because you're hanging out with the wrong people at the wrong time, I guess. And B, if the crime committed in violation of subdivision 2 is a misdemeanor, the person is guilty of a gross misdemeanor. So if you got a misdemeanor, it was like, let's say, disturbing the peace, they're going to elevate that to a gross misdemeanor. Well, no, disturbing the peace wasn't one of the crimes, but let's say the crime was assault, and you were going to get, and the assault you were doing was a misdemeanor, then the person guilty, if you were doing it for the benefit of the gang, is now they're going to up your ante to now you're guilty of a gross misdemeanor. So you're just going to add that on there, even though you didn't do a gross misdemeanor, but now that they've attached your gang to you, now it's a gross misdemeanor. Holy moly. And if the crime, this is section C, if the crime committed in violation of subdivision 2 is a gross misdemeanor, then you're guilty of a felony. So that's really crazy. You go in, oh, well, all I did was a misdemeanor. No, you did it for the benefit of the gang. So your gross misdemeanor is a felony, my G. And you may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 3 years or a payment of a fine of not more than $15,000 or both. Holy moly. Subdivision 4, mandatory minimum sentences, unless a longer mandatory minimum sentence is otherwise required by law or the court imposes a longer aggravated durational departure or a longer prison sentence is presumed under the sentencing guidelines and imposed by the court. A person convicted of a crime described in subdivision 3, paragraph A, shall be committed to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for not less than 1 year plus 1 day. Oh, also, another caveat in subdivision 4, section B. But you got to read the fine print. These guys ain't just a whistling Dixie over there in Minnesota right now. Any person convicted and sentenced as required by paragraph A is not eligible for probation, parole, discharge, work release, or supervised release until that person has served the full term of imprisonment as provided by the law, notwithstanding some provisions that they list. So that's what they're doing over in Minnesota for quote-unquote gang members, doing things for the benefit of the gang. I keep telling you guys, they're throwing this gang thing around. All you got to do is get in trouble with a patch on your back. Oh my goodness. And you got, 3 people, and the way that read, one guy didn't even have to have done anything wrong. All he had to do was have committed a crime before, like if he was a felon or something, or had a past history of committing crime. You're now in a gang. Winner was arrested after someone who'd been at the bar that night provided police with the license plate number of the vehicle driven away by one of the people involved, the complaint said. And that's really, hey, everybody's got cell phones today. Everybody's got a cell phone, and these cell phones are amazing. My cell phone cost $1,200, right? And the thing about it is, it has a processor on it stronger than the processor they use to go to the moon with. And it takes incredible pictures, video, You name it. It's the top of the line camera, and everybody's got one or something real close to it. And you can't do anything out there if somebody not filming you, watching you, and reporting you. This guy called the police and gave them the license plate number. So police pulled Wayner over. I'm saying his name right. Police pulled Wayner over in the vehicle and found him carrying 2 loaded handguns, court records say. He was also reportedly wearing his Hell's Outcast leather jacket. And then it goes on to say the Hell's Outcast is a notorious and active gang in Ramsey County, according to authorities. Well, according to them, everybody's a gang. But anyway, Winter told officers he was licensed to carry and denied seeing or being involved in any altercation at the bar, the complaint said. He also denied recognizing any of the Hell's Outcast members captured in photos from the alleged incident on the bar's surveillance system, court records say. He denied knowing them at all. In addition to attacking the bouncer, gang members, as the article reads, allegedly stole the bouncer's handgun, and the bouncer suffered a torn cornea, charges say. The witness who gave the license plate number also took his Good Samaritan behind down to the police department to meet the officers. You got some Samaritans out there. You got some cowboys in some white hats. And they ain't a whistling Dixie. They see you misbehaving. Can't we all just get along? You ain't getting along. You ain't behaving. You ain't getting along. They use one of these cell phones to capture you, or in his case, to call the police and report, like Dudley Do Right, the license plate he took. And then he went down to the police department. The witness who gave the license plate number to police met the officers at the arrest location. No, that's where he went. And identified Wayner as the person he overheard threatened to shoot up the bar and the people inside it, the complaint said. He met him over there. Drove right over there. Yeah, that's the guy right there. That's the one who did it right there. I ain't afraid. He did it. Not a good night. Wayner eventually halted his interview, which is what you're supposed to do with police, and asked for a lawyer, according to the complaint. Yeah, you're not even supposed to start the interview up, but it's good. Hey, at some point when you realize this ain't going good, they ain't playing, you need to halt the interview like Wayner did and ask for a lawyer. He reportedly later called his wife from jail and directed her to contact the judge, court documents say. Well, he must have known a judge and told his wife to get a hold of him or her. When his wife reminded him that the judge was in Washington County, Wayner replied, "I don't give a bleep. See what he can do to help us. I need every card I can pull right now," according to the complaint. Because, yeah, when you see what they charge this man for, he needs every card he can pull. They're talking about putting that guy in jail for a long time. Saloon's owner and bouncer have reportedly received calls warning them not to cooperate with police since Wayner's arrest, the complaint said. Wayner's attorney, public defender Bruce Wenger, could not be immediately reached for comment. Wayner was released from jail about 4:30 p.m. Tuesday afternoon after posting bond. He has no other criminal convictions in Minnesota other than a minor traffic violation. He could not be reached for comment. Those are some big, big charges. That is like absolutely terrifying. Those are big charges, and they have all kinds of added stuff on them. You're going to serve all the time, and you're not eligible for parole. It is ugly. And folks, you got to know that they're hunting. They're hunting for us. They're looking for anything they can get on a bike club. And the first word they're going to be tossing around is gang, 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 gang. So you got to know they're coming at you, and they're coming at you with enhanced charges. Enhanced charge. Oh, that would normally be 5 years. You need to add 5 to it. Why? All I did was spit on the man. Yeah, well, you did it in benefit of the gang. What gang? I'm not in a gang. Yeah, well, you did it in benefit of the gang, and because you did it in benefit of the gang, we are going to add another 5 years. Crazy. Oh, and we're going to add 10 years because that was a minor. That's what they're doing. So we have to understand. We have to understand that it's not the 1970s anymore. They're watching bikers of every sort, of every flavor, and especially bikers that put those colors on their backs. And you got to think about it before you get into these altercations. And so they also got him on this making threats of violence. It is 609.713 of the Minnesota statute. This is a really kind of interesting one as well, how they kind of do this. So we looked up that statute and checked out Attorney Ryan Pagia's website, and he explains a little bit about the terroristic threat 609.713 in Minnesota. He says, first of all, and I quote his website, "You've been charged with terroristic threats. It's a charge you can't live with on your record. The label itself will make it nearly impossible for you to find a job." So you get a threat like this, and now if you ain't working for yourself, you ain't going to find a job if you don't have one. Here's what terroristic threats mean under Minnesota law. Crime of violence, a violation of or an attempt or a conspiracy to commit an act that could result in substantial bodily harm to another. Crimes of violence typically result in death, broken bones, loss of consciousness, or stitches. For example, one person yells at another, "I've had enough. Come outside and I'll slit your throat." At this point, it does not matter what started the argument. All that matters is that the threat to slit one's throat could result in great or substantial bodily harm to another. Or terrorize, to cause extreme fear by use of violence of threats. Threats are context specific. Thus, a person might lack the specific intent to threaten or terrorize, but the mere utterance may be objectively threatening. In such a case, the individual may be charged under the statute. For example, a moviegoer walks into a crowded theater and tells fellow moviegoers that there is a bomb inside the theater causing a panic. Even if no bomb is present, the individual can be charged with intent to terrorize. What are the penalties? So the penalties for that, and remember they're going to add 5 years to this. If it is found that you threatened violence or intended to terrorize an individual, you face a maximum prison sentence of 5 years or a maximum fine of $10,000 or both. If you are found to have communicated your plan to terrorize someone, you face 3 years imprisonment and a maximum fine of $3,000 or both. If it is found that you displayed or brandished a weapon in a threatening manner, you face a prison sentence of not more than 366 days or a fine of not more than $3,000 or both. Wow, brandishing a weapon can get you 366 days and a $3,000 fine. A conviction for terroristic threats is a felony. So if you make a terroristic threat, like showing your gun, lifting your shirt over your waist and showing your gun, and you brandish that weapon, and you did it for the benefit of the gang, then you got a felony. They were going to bump that up to a felony anyway. But you got a felony, and that is pretty bad. As a result of the felony, several bad things happen, says this attorney. You will have a felony record, lose your ability to vote, lose the ability to possess firearms. You may not be able to live in some apartments. Potential loss of professional license, like maybe if you were a counselor or something like that, or a truck driver, you might lose your license to do your vocation. And potential disqualifications from certain jobs. Additionally, a conviction under this statute will not allow you to volunteer at things like school functions, coaching, youth sports, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, etc. Wow. So that is what they're doing. And you better know it. You better know it before you want to get in some kind of altercation or something like that. If you're with your club brothers and y'all all have your cuts on, you're going to become a gang the minute something goes down. And they'll be calling you a gang until the cows come home. And they won't be just a whistling Dixie. they will be adding all kind of charges on that behind and be trying to make them stick. Well, let me know what you think, your comments, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for this video, and share it if you find some people that might need some reiteration to act right out there in their colors and become good stewards and good citizens of your motorcycle clubs, because Big Brother is watching and you can take that to the bank. So I appreciate you all. That's my 2 cents. Yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Leave your comments down below. My books, Prospects Bible for Women's Motorcycle Clubs, and the Public Relations Officer's Bible, as well as the Sergeant at Arms Bible, are all available on Amazon and Kindle and can be ordered from like Bookstore or something like that, Barnes & Noble, and they will get that book to you within a week or so. Well, that's my 2 cents. As always, we appreciate everything. Love having you guys aboard. Thanks for tuning in. And get skinny.